Anytime you beg another man to set you free, you will never be free. Freedom is something that you have to do for yourself.
Okay, I'm going to make a bunch of videos about this particular topic. So this is going to be part one in a series of videos that I do called Digital ID and Me. So in the last video, I kind of touched on how these systems that the government want to force on everybody, these digital ID systems, they can only achieve their end goal here if people accept the brainwashing and the conditioning, and pretty much if they can successfully sucker us into it. Now, a lot of that the groundwork for that has already been done, because people reflexively fear the term digital ID.
Give me a baby, and I can make any kind of man. These are the words of John B. Watson, the founder of behaviorism. According to this worldview, the behavior of organisms, including human beings, is predictable and therefore controllable. In 1920, at Johns Hopkins University, Watson experimented on several babies ranging in age from 3 months to a year. The experiments were remarkable in their simplicity. He would present a candle to infants to see if they were afraid of fire. He would introduce animals to their environment to see if the children were afraid of them naturally, or only after a traumatic experience. He would make a hissing noise and observe the results. Watson learned that newborn babies had no fear of the dark. He also learned, however, that such fear could be conditioned. And so it was with rabbits. This baby, known as Little Albert, initially found delight in touching a rabbit. Yet, as Watson began to clang a steel rod and claw a hammer behind the child's head whenever he touched the creature, the reaction became not one of delight, but terror. Soon, the mere sight of the rabbit would elicit fear, even when no noise was provided, a fear that also extended to objects and textures of a similar type. From his experiments, Watson reached a radical conclusion which would come to define political and social engineering in the 20th century. The driving force in society, he claimed, is not love, but fear.
And this is already something that they've really done a great deal of work on, and honestly, it's deeply unsettling to me that they've already reflexively trained people to just associate the term digital ID with fear and tyranny. And there is an enormous risk in this, but that's only because people reflexively think that digital ID means a government system to facilitate government tyranny. And by and large, that's all it is, if it's by the government. But you already have a digital identity. You have a digital footprint online. You, me, everybody, we all have one. You have an email address, you have maybe a Facebook account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account. Those are all ways that you present yourself, you present your identity online to other people. And in every single instance where people are using these services, they are the product. You are the product on Facebook or on Twitter. These are free services because you are generating data for those companies who then sell that data to other people. So, I mean, I don't have any problem pulling any punches, and I'll just say that the government is enslaving us to the banks, who create their debt from nothing, and we're just forced to work for these bankers who do nothing. And then on the flip side of that, we go and we live our lives and our social lives online, and we give away tens of thousands of dollars of data that we've created to these services. And it's like we're just being exploited at every end here. And I think social media companies have been particularly involved in demonizing digital ID so that people reflexively think that it's going to be bad. So you'll never consider that, hey, I could make a digital ID system where I get to own the data that I create. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but it's like tens of thousands of dollars in data that the average internet user generates on behalf of these big tech companies every year. So you're giving away tens of thousands of dollars to these people just so that they can control everything? Now, ideally, I mean, if we created a digital ID system on a blockchain where you hold the keys to what's stored on your ID, and you can share certain private or public keys with other people, public keys, so that the information, you own the data that you generate online. Your data is tied to your own ID system. So rather than facilitating government tyranny, it protects you from it, where it puts you in the driver's seat, not the government, not some big corporation, of your data, of the information that's relevant to who you are. You should be in control of that, not the government, not Facebook, not Meta, not X. All of those people have a vested interest in making sure that you fear this idea, so you never realize that you could use these ideas to empower yourself and to take back all the power that we've wrongly given to corporations and governments. And it's deeply concerning to me that so many people, they just hear the term digital ID and it's fear, immediate fear. Because like, they've trained you to, like a dog, like through just basic conditioning, Pavlovian conditioning techniques, study animal behavior, study livestock management. Those are the ways that we're controlled. It's basic conditioning process. They want to they've repeatedly presented these ideas to you in a fearful way so that you reflexively withdraw from it the moment the conversation turns to that topic. They've trained you like a dog to fear the thing that could free you and empower you and set your family free. So people are terrified of the one thing that's going to actually give them a chance to avoid a totalitarian control grid type future. And really, that's the focus I want to make of this video, is that all of these systems that we use, your email, your social media pages, these are all ways that you're presenting yourself online. And the way that you're choosing to do it by participating in these systems that rob you of your data and sell it to other people, instead of empowering you to sell it directly to the people who want to buy it from you, they're predatory. You're being preyed on by your government and by these big corporations because you haven't figured out that you have a way to empower yourself. And they want you to fear that more than anything else, because that's where they get their money and their power from. By conditioning you to go along with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to having a digital ID system that's made where you're in total control. But the only option that they're presenting you is that, oh, we're going to have this backdoor government system where we control everything and we can spy on you and turn your bank account off, turn off your health card, do all kinds of things to just dominate and control you like a farm animal. And that's largely because they want to run society using the principles of livestock management, where human farmers farm human livestock for the taxes. If you look at all the different ways that you present your digital identity online currently, you're not in control. When you go on Facebook, you're not in control. When you go on Twitter, you're not in control. When you use your email address, you're not in control. You're giving all your power away and giving all your data away to the people who have the control. It's much easier to control people and get them to work for you than it is to actually go out there and control livestock. You can just up the tax rate, make them work for you 5 months a year, and people will just, they won't even recognize that that's what's happening to them because they never add up how much taxes they pay. People, if they really understood that you're paying like 5 months of your life in taxes every year, when you present that reality to people, it's so shocking to them that they just stick their head back in the sand. But that's the reality of the world we live in, and we could change any time. But it's only going to change if people figure out how the game is played and figure out that we could use technology to set ourselves free. So, I mean, we have to stop associating digital ID with tyranny, because it could also be a way that we protect ourselves from government tyranny, protect ourselves from having our data stolen and managed by people who don't have our best interests in mind at all, and who only are really motivated by the profit of having this system where they're in control. So, I mean, we can continue down the road we're on, giving more power away to the government, giving more power away to these big corporations, or we can do the smart thing and start taking some of that power back for ourselves. And the only way that we can do that at this point is through technology like blockchain. Because really, they're going to push this. And they're going to push this hard. And really, if you look at like the United Nations Agenda 2030 stuff, that's only achievable with the digital ID system. It's fundamental to their goals that they impose digital ID on us. It's like the foundation of the totalitarian control grid will be built on digital ID. And I mean, we're funding these things. They're governments. They're taking our tax dollars, these big corporations. They're taking our money, they're taking our data, they're making profit on it. And they're reinvesting those profits into building a system that'll enslave you forever. Now, we have to snap out of this, or we're going to be dragged to hell by these people. And they've definitely got a plan to force this on us in a way that's going to be very difficult for us to avoid, especially if we're not aware of the alternatives. So really, the point of this video is to be more positive. We can use these technologies to empower ourselves. It doesn't have to be the way that they're saying it has to be. You just have to stand up for yourself and stop being a bitch. So, I mean, we can have a digital ID system that saves people from government tyranny instead of facilitating it. And there's a lot of people who are already thinking this way, already trying to build these things, but really there's not enough of us. And there's not enough of us because there's been a psychological operation to get people to not pay attention to those things.
Give me a baby, and I can make any kind of man.
And I mean, it's largely driven by the interests of the social media companies who have this predatory model of tricking you into giving them tens of thousands of dollars worth of data so that they can turn around and sell it. And I mean, I'll talk about the MAID system in Canada. It's the same thing. You don't realize how much money the biological tissues that are taken off of your organ donor, your loved ones who are organ donors, they take tissues off them and they give them away to biomedical companies. And they turn them into biomedical products that they can make like $80,000 worth of profit on from like a young healthy corpse. You're going to make a significant amount of profit off the tissues, or out of the products that those tissues can be made into. And people, you just give away you give away 5 months of your life to the government every year. You give away tens of thousands of dollars to these corporations every year. When you die, they take tens of thousands of dollars worth of tissues off of your corpse, and they don't compensate you or your estate for the money that they've generated from your dead body. We're just being exploited at every turn, and it does not have to be this way. It's only like this because we haven't asserted ourselves. We've given all of our power away to these people who only want to take advantage of us. Now, you might ask yourself, well, where are these people doing these things? Look at BSV. Look at Project Babbage, the MetaNet ID client. I have it on my computer. You can have your own digital ID system. This is just one example. But there's so much psychological pressure by these big, powerful interests to keep people away from these ideas, to really push you to only see a path that leads to tyranny. Like on this trail, you're going to walk, I'm going to walk and I'm going to follow this trail. What if I go off the path over here? Why don't we just consider taking the path less traveled? We're being pushed into a nightmarish future by these people, and we don't have to go along with it. We can choose to pivot. We can choose to go in another direction where we empower ourselves instead of giving our way all of our lives to these criminals in government and big corporations. But again, it's presented as the only option, and there's this woe is me, what are we going to do, I'm just one person mentality, which is fucking pathetic. Just stop giving your power away to these people. Find out the ways that you can take your power back. Because if you don't do that, it's going to end really fucking badly. We're going to be living like people in China, where, oh, you cross the street without waiting for the light to change, automatically docked of your income. Automatically fined. Now, yeah, I mean, all of us, we really have a choice to make. We can keep going along with these people, keep letting them take advantage of us, or we can show each other that there's another path we can take where we're not constantly being taken advantage of, where we don't have months and years of our lives stripped from us by men who don't deserve that time of our lives it's taken us to earn our wealth. And really, it's so predatory and disgusting, the level that we're at. Working 5 months of the year for the government is sick. This is already a Black Mirror episode. You're living in a totalitarian nightmare already, where you're working half your life for the government. Do you really want to continue doing that and working more and more for them every year? Or do you want to get off your knees and stop being a bitch? Now, when Keir Starmer got on TV and said, we're going to make digital ID mandatory, what he's really saying is that you don't have a choice. That you're just going to have to be forced to do whatever they say that you're going to be forced to do. But we do have a choice. It's always a choice. And they're just trying to trick you into thinking that you don't have a choice. But the choice is ours. So, I mean, yeah, when these political scumbags get on TV and say, you're not going to have a choice, we're going to force this on you whether you like it or not, it's to try to demoralize you, to try to tell you that you don't have any agency in this matter and that you don't have any say, that they're in control. But all of their authority and power is derived from our consent. And really, I mean, every election cycle, people go along and they vote, and their vote, no matter who you vote for, is consent to a system that's enslaving you and taking advantage of you. And it's time for us to fucking snap out of it and wake up. It doesn't have to be this way, and the choice is always fucking ours.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. Has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money, a choice.